Good morning. Today I'm going to show you how to make apple cider vinegar. I've got everything here, well, a few things to show you first. Apple cider vinegar is supposed to have all kinds of health benefits. It's antimicrobial, antibacterial, it's good for your gut health. It's just quite tasty as well, and you make it using scraps, so it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. It means you don't throw anything away. So I'll just show you what I've got here to start off with. Firstly, obviously you're going to need some apples. You can just buy some from the shops if you want. If you want it to be organic, you're going to want to buy organic apples. These ones, I don't know whether you can see, definitely organic. Can you see? They're just full of insect holes, bruising and everything. They're nice little apple trees in my brother's back garden, but clearly very organic. So there's my organic apples, and really that's all you need. You need a container after that to put what you're going to use out of these to make the apple cider vinegar. These are ones I made earlier, so I can be like Valerie Singleton. This is the finished product, and they look fabulous. Though sadly it isn't Tanqueray Sevilla gin, it's actually vinegar, but never mind. It looks nice though, doesn't it? That'll be ready probably in the next couple of weeks. This is the stuff that I've got ongoing at the minute. What you can see here, you can see that one bubbling. At the top here, you've got chopped up bits of apple, and this is the vinegar starting here. Same with both of them. If you can see some funny coloured stuff at the top, this is just some, I'll explain this later, it's some bits of silicone I'm using to keep the apple pressed down. Okay, so I'll show you what I do now. So I've got here, this isn't very attractive, and that just goes to show you don't need any special equipment for making apple cider vinegar. Ideally, I would rather have it in something nice and pretty like that nice jar with a lid. But I just don't have any at the minute because I'm making quite a bit just now. That is just an old oil container that I've given a good wash out. I don't worry too much about sterilising the containers that I use. Usually they would go through the dishwasher, so they're pretty sterile after that. I haven't been able to do that with this one, but I've just given it a real good wash out, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be adequate. So all I'm going to do is get these apples now. I want to use the flesh. These are nice, really sweet, tasty apples. I'm going to put them in a separate pan and cook them down and make some apple sauce to put in the freezer. What I'm going to be using is just the peel and the core, and I'm just going to put the peel and the core into here. So off we go. I'm not going to make you watch us peel all of these, don't worry. If I had one of those lovely little apple cores and peelers, that would be good, wouldn't it? But I don't. So basically, take out your core, this little stalk thing. I'm not going to keep all the bruised bits or the insect bites. Peeling them. I'm keeping the apple that's going into my preserving pan to cook after. There's a bruised bit, we'll get rid of that. Insect bites. I don't know what insect it is that he gets on these apples. They're always covered in wasps, so I think it's probably just wasps. So obviously this is great for this time of year when we've got all these apples grown. I mean, you can use any kind of apple. Right, so I'm just going to start and just pop them in there like that. You can put the pips in and everything. It's absolutely fine. Right, that's all the apples done. You can fill this up further than this if you want, or even a little bit less. Probably about half is adequate, or more. It's obviously going to affect how appley the taste is, and I found the homemade stuff is much more appley than the stuff that's bought from the shops. So there we go, that's them all peeled. Your next stage is you need the liquid in here that's actually going to form the vinegar. It's just made of water and sugar. You want 1 tablespoon of sugar per cup, or per about 250 mils of water, or 4 tablespoons per litre. So this is 1.5 litres I've got in here. I'm probably going to need a lot more than this because I want 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think this is a 5 litre container, so it's going to take more liquid than this. This water's just warm. You don't want your water boiling hot because you don't want the risk of killing all the bacteria and the microbes and the yeasts that are already on the apples. So I'm just going to give this a quick stir to let that sugar dissolve, and then we'll pour it in. Now, if you've already got a bottle of apple cider vinegar, that's live apple cider vinegar with the mother, you're best to put a splash of that in to any new batch you make, because that already contains all the living organisms that are going to turn this into the vinegar. If you haven't got any, not to worry, it can form them itself, but putting a splash of live apple cider vinegar in just helps it along, gives it a kickstart. You can tell if it's live because if it's shop bought stuff, have a look on the label. It should say live, it'll say with the mother, which sounds pretty weird and creepy, doesn't it, actually? But it just means it's got the living start organisms in there. Okay, see how far we'll go with that. Not enough, obviously. This is homemade vinegar from a previous batch, so I just keep adding a dot in each next one, just a tablespoon or so. I'll put a bit more because that's quite cloudy at the bottom, it's not so nice. Right, I'm going to carry on getting some more warm water and filling this up until it's pretty full. Okay, we're getting right to the top now. I'm just going to try and top it right up. The one thing you want to try and do is keep your apple submerged, which is going to be pretty tricky for me with this small neck here. I've got a little silicone rubbery thing I might push in, but I think I maybe need to top it up a little bit more. I'm not using tap water here, by the way. I'm using filtered water. We've got a filter on the fridge that we just use. Tap water has all kinds of additives in, chlorine and what have you, which are going to really stop all the life in your vinegar from multiplying if you use that. So really use filtered water or perhaps bottled water. There we go, that's nice and full now. Because I want the apple to stay below the surface of the water, the reason I want to do that is because if it's exposed to the air, it could get molds and bacteria on that you don't want, nasty ones. So I'm just going to push this in. I'm not sure how this is going to work, to be fair. There you go. And that'll help just push them down. You can use anything you want for this. You can buy expensive fermenting weights that you put in the necks of jars and bottles, but I've never had to do that. Well, I've never done it because I'm not prepared to pay how much they charge. I'll show you this one, for example. You can see there's something green in here and something yellow at the top. All I've got there is a piece of silicone that I've cut out from a mat or something. And also this yellow thing in the top is an egg poaching silicone thing with holes in. So So I've just basically pushed them in and forced them down to keep the apple below the surface of the water. There are a couple of bits floating, but they're more or less under, they're fine. Okay, now lid on. For lids, you need to be able to allow your apple cider vinegar to kind of breathe while it's creating itself. All the microbes and whatever else it is in here, the yeasts are going to be releasing gases and they need to be able to escape. You run the risk of having an exploding bottle. This one probably wouldn't, as it's plastic, if you don't let them breathe. You can just put a coffee filter on with an elastic band round or a piece of cloth. I just prefer to use a lid but not put it on really tight. I mean, I've even these Kilner jars that I use. Have I got the seal on there? I have got the seal on there. If you've got the seal on, you need to be diligent about popping it open every day just to let the gases release. I don't know why I put the seal on there. I usually wouldn't, and that's usually loose enough to let the gas release. These ones, the lid's on, but it's not on tight, so any air can get out. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. It's a plastic lid. I'm putting it on. I'm not hoofing it right up, as Kenny would say. I'm just putting it on loosely. So it stops nasty things getting in and lets the gases get out. So there you go. That is the start of your apple cider vinegar. All you've got to do with that now is pop it into a dark cupboard, leave it for 3 weeks. Keep checking it, opening the lid a little bit and making sure it's not getting any moulds on the top. If there are, you can maybe just try and fish the little bit of apple that's mouldy out. I have done that before and it's worked fine. Once you've left it for 3 weeks, take it out the cupboard. You want to take all these apple pieces out of your liquid. With this one, it might be a bit of a challenge. I think I'll have to pour the liquid out into a sieve or something and catch it underneath. Usually I just fish it out with a slotted spoon if I've got a wide neck container. Once you've fished all the apple out, which is the stage I'm almost at with that, I'll be doing this next week, fishing all these bits of apple out, transfer it into whatever bottle you're going to keep it in, like that, and leave it for another 3 weeks just to mature a little bit, and then you're good to go. It's fabulous. You could just use it after that. It'll keep indefinitely, vinegar, so you can make a whole pile this autumn while we've got all these apples, and it'll last all year until next autumn, no problem at all. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed my little video on how to make apple cider vinegar. Very easy, very simple. You can hardly go wrong with it. And apple cider vinegar to buy in the shops is actually quite expensive, shockingly so for vinegar. So give it a go, and I hope you have success as I have. See you next time. Bye.